Welcome to EnigmaCast,
exactly
noobs. Oh, we got a show for y'all tonight. Man. We got a show for you guys. Probably one of our top 4 or 5 best of all time. Maybe. We'll see as we get into it. Before we get into that, everybody say hi to our guy, Uncle Jay, our urban legend channel expert.
What's up?
So,
How's it going?
Just the energy.
I know, it takes me a little while to ramp up, right?
He's a warm-up. He doesn't come out the gate quick, but he's a strong finisher. Before I get into this, too, you might notice that I have a new recording studio set up. Thank you.
I like it, definitely.
Thank you. I want to give a shout-out to my boy Drew over at the Cryptid Warfare Podcast for hooking us up with this great handmade art. He made this with spray paint, Jay. Right?
Yeah, it's very cool.
Right? Stuff of
nightmares.
No,
I've seen the people do the. There was a guy here in Hanover who was a friend of a friend who did spray art that was pretty cool too. That definitely is genre specific though, for sure.
Fits. Also got my new channel logo on the back there, right there. Me looking good walking through it. Got a Zool on point back there in the cup, right there. Give up some Zool. And you got Sith Lord Joseph in the back right there, just in case you guys want to know what my day job is. All right.
Sith Lord Joseph.
See him back there, Jay? You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that.
I'm not ready for that at all.
Not ready for that, noobs. Also, too, I want to give a shout out real quick before we get into it, everybody. I want to draw attention to my nonprofit, which is called ProjectFirstStep.com. It's a nonprofit, a 501(c) that took me a while to get up and running, but it is up and running now. If you are dealing with any type of mental illness, or we specialize in helping people dealing with psychosis-based mental illness, go to my website, take a look at it. It's ProjectFirstStep.com. I'm going to add that into the comments going forward on there, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction, no matter where you're at in America. Or even if you're hurting overseas and you need some information, I can't help you pay for things overseas, but I can actually help you pay for things over here in the United States of America. Check it out. Anyways, get that out of the way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the button.
Hit the button.
Get that out of the way. Boom. Jay, what you know about this cat named Thoth and the Emerald Tablet?
I remember that when I was a kid, it always fascinated me that the Egyptian gods had animal heads. And Thoth was always interesting to me because just him and Ptah, P-T-A-H, just caught my attention when I was a kid, right? Mm-hmm. So I would read a lot about this story, what books there were when I was young, right, that you get a hold of. But yeah, it's one of my favorite.
Whatever the church would let you read.
He's one of my favorite gods, right? Well, yeah, right. More what I could sneak when I could sneak off into the library and
right,
look at what I wanted to look at, not what everybody else wanted me to look at.
So that's a good one here. So let me give everybody in the channel a quick background in case you don't know who Thoth is. A lot of people don't know who Thoth is, but Thoth is actually an ancient Egyptian deity, however you pronounce that. He is over 36,000 years old, right? He's often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis. If you don't know what an ibis is, it's like a bird, like with a bird with a long beak, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like a crane or not a flamingo. Flamingos are a different family.
Yeah. And he also, sometimes they say he's depicted with the face of a baboon, which I've never seen him as a baboon, but okay, sure. He's associated with the following: wisdom, writing, science, magic. He's considered one of the most important gods of the Egyptian pantheon, Anunnaki, and is believed to be the scribe of the gods, that the inventor of writing and the keeper of knowledge, which I cannot help but connect with what we've known from that book. Who else do we know that was called the scribe of the gods, Jay?
Oh, I don't know. He's got a couple names. Enoch being like
the primary one.
Yeah.
So hold on one second here.
I think he was a teacher's pet.
Through the power of editing, I need to do something here. 1 second. 3, 2, 1. Full screen. There we go. Much better. Full screen. I'll fix that in post edit. Anyways.
That's fine.
But yeah, so Yeah, he sounds a lot like Enoch to me, right? So
yeah, there's a role like the scribe role in a lot of ancient like pantheons, like
mhm.
the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks and the Romans were kind of the same. The Romans kind of just adopted the Greek
Yeah.
stuff because they weren't very religious or people too much. They were more interested in uh, the material
I just had
world
a
and
thought,
the
man.
spiritual one.
I just had a thought, right?
Sure.
We'll get back to the emerald tablets and Thoth here, but it just popped in my head because the Book of Enoch. Remember Azazel? Azazel was the
Azazel.
Azazel was he was the one that
Oh,
came
you're
down,
talking about
taught us.
one of the archangels. Oh, is it Azrael?
No, the one that came down and taught man how to make weapons and fight.
Yeah,
He got
it was
punished for it.
either Azazel. It was either Azazel or Azrael. And I can't
Yeah,
remember.
one of those, right? Makes me think about like he must have landed in because you brought up some good the thing that you said this triggered a memory, man. You talk about the Greeks, the Spartans, the Romans. Those boys could fight, man. They could throw down.
They were much more interested in what was happening in front of them,
Yeah, they
right?
could fight,
And
right?
what was going on around.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had a singular kind of focus.
yeah. So phalanx
Yeah.
phalanx conquered the known world. I mean, the Romans were
Yep.
lethal with it, man.
They
Carthage,
were.
same with the Carthage on that. So I wonder if that's where he got busy down there. But anyways, stop, bro. Stop. Every time can we have a conversation and stay on the conversation, right?
So yeah, I am on the conversation. It relates because the Romans
Right.
did meet the Egyptians.
That's
And
one where
some
they
of
met them and they introduced them to the working end of that phalanx.
Well,
Right?
some of their, yeah, they did. They really did in a bad way too. But their gods kind of meshed a little bit,
Yeah, that's another thing too, man.
right? Hermes. I know there's a Hermes. There's a Hermes Mercury.
There's definitely
right?
crossover. There's a lot of crossover in there. But now knowing what I know now, what we've read with these books, 100% those are watchers, fallen angels, Anunnakis, 100%. Especially when you see about all the Zeus came down and took a woman and had a kid with her, and that kid had special powers. We've heard that story in the Sumerian tablets,
Right,
the Book of
and
Enoch,
those were the Hercules and all the champions, right? The Titans.
the champions, Titans.
Hermes, the Greek god of interpretive communication, was combined with Thoth.
Mhm.
Thoth,
Right.
the Egyptian god of wisdom. So Hermes and Thoth kind of became the same deity,
Yeah.
to a certain degree.
Right.
They were very parallel,
Mhm.
and that would equate to Mercury in the Roman pantheon.
But it gets weirder than this, y'all. Because Thoth, don't call him an Egyptian, man. Don't call him a Roman. Don't call him. Because
Agreed.
Thoth is an OG, 36,000-year-old Atlantean, right? So in order for you to believe the rest of this story, you got to get down with Atlantis, which I actually
There's a
believe.
path.
There is a. I don't even think I don't even think it's that hard of a.
What if Atlantis was Eden?
Yeah, and I don't even think that's a hard prove based on what we know now. But anyway, so
Not a hard path to follow, because think about it. There's some parallels there.
yeah, I mean, so there is so much parallels that go that trace back to Atlantis. Even when you get into like Billy Carson's pushing this thing now recently, I can't make up my mind if this guy really believes what he's talking about or he's a grifter. But he's pushing. He's very successful either way. The Pyramid Wars. You heard about this Pyramid Wars? He's really pushing hard the Atlanteans versus the Lemurians, right? The Pyramid Wars that were going on.
The Lemurians.
The Lemurians, right? The ones they say who live in Mount Shasta is what they say, the Lemurians, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, right?
Yeah. So there was a war. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Pyramid
there was
War.
a war.
Yeah.
But Pyramid War, Sky God War, Anunnaki War, Bhagavad Gita War, like,
And then a big flood.
and that big flood. Everybody kind of agrees that
Everybody agrees on the flood, right? For sure. Everybody agrees on the flood, man, for sure. But anyways, y'all, so to let you know what Thoth is known for, right? I got to tell you who this guy is, man. So based on the readings, and I can't remember Plato. I can't remember the guy's name. Who wrote the Iliad, Jay?
Homer.
Homer. I
Greece.
think Homer was the one that said his father told him about Atlantis, right? So anyway, so Thoth is an Atlantean over 36,000 years old, but it's very specific what knowledge they actually written about this guy in Egypt, man. Thoth also has a second name, and they all like to have. We need to get us some second names, dude, for sure, man. He's also known as.
I have more than two.
I need to get me some second names, man. He's also known as Jute, Djehuty. I grew up in the South, man. Whatever, Dehuti. And Thoth is credited for creating this thing called the Emerald Tablet, which is 4 feet high, 3 feet wide. And he created, and this is where I start like going, He supposedly created language, hieroglyphics, mathematics, wrote the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Also, they credit him for science, religion, alchemy, chemistry, mathematics. You name it, this guy supposedly has made it, right? But Thoth will tell you that he didn't create this, that is actually taught to him by his. So Thoth supposedly lived on an island called Undal in the city of Korra, which was one of the 10 rings of Atlantis. If you know anything about Atlantis, it's described as 10 rings moving out. Each ring was actually considered its own nation. So these rings are probably pretty massive.
Or its own laboratory.
Or its own something, right? And he was taught to us by his father, Thothme, real original name, right? Thoth and Thothme. And Thothme said he got the knowledge that he passed down to his son directly from the children of light, aka the Anunnaki, or the fallen angels, or the watchers. Okay. Depends on how you want to believe it. So Thoth wrote this, right? And Thoth was sent out to rule Egypt for, I want to say, 26,000 years or something like that, man. It was a pretty long time that supposedly he was ruler of Egypt. Facts, check us in the comments, noobs, if I got that wrong. Our channel helper has been real helpful lately, pointing out my mistakes. Thanks, guys. All right, thanks. All right, so pointing out my mistakes.
Yeah.
Stop DMing me too. Stop sending me a message. From now on, you know what I'm going to do, Jay? I've said this before, man. If you're not going to tell me in the comments what I'm doing wrong, I'm not even going to read you. You understand, right? You know what? Send me back that T-shirt I sent you too.
The email just goes into the bin.
So, I'm not even going to read it anymore, man. So anyway, yeah. And let's pause it right there, Jay. Out of all the stuff that I'm about to talk about, that's the most believable to me, only because of this book right behind me right here. That there was now we've talked on this channel at length about the difference between immortal and eternal, right? Immortal being that you can't be killed. Eternal means that you just can live, you won't die of old age or time, but you can definitely be taken out, right? And Thoth was not immortal.
Destroyed.
Thoth was an eternal being. He was not immortal, right? And he wasn't born eternal. Supposedly he did so well in his studies, which I'm like, okay, try hard, that he was gifted the gift of eternity.
Well, I mean, if that's the motivation, dude, I'm gonna be hitting the books, bro.
Would you?
Immortality?
I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, I wrote a whole book on.
But would you want it though?
Immortality. Would I want it? Absolutely.
Really?
Here's the. Oh yeah. Okay. See, let me qualify that a little bit.
Darth J.
Right? I want as much life as I can possibly get, because I really enjoy life, even the bad parts. Right.
Right.
I enjoy it. I enjoy existing. I think that's reasonable. Right. I don't want anyone to get hurt in the process of me living longer.
So
right?
you're not built for that.
I don't want to cause harm.
You're not built for that vampire life, man.
No. We'll see. Okay. Well, you go down the whole vampire road and just look at True Blood and all that whole story. That's been played out, right? People will volunteer. They really will, just because of the romanticism behind vampires. But it's not really how I want to exist, right? I'm looking more towards like science, right? I do believe that we'll be able to extend the human lifespan quite a bit, right? And I think we'll be able to do it rather soon. Because there's very rich people working on it, and they're spending a lot of money to figure it out. So it's only a matter of time. There's could have a whole conversation of what the pillars are, right?
Transhumanism.
I would love to be functionally immortal, meaning that if I lived my daily life, nothing's going to kill me.
So you're a true blood vampire. I always had you more like of a Twilight.
I never watched. I got to be honest. I never watched it. I do have to confess to watching Twilight because my wife made me do it.
I watched Twilight. The women in my life were fascinated with that Twilight series, right?
I know.
I thought Edward Cullen is such an emo. I was so emo. Well, he was so emotionally. He was so wrong to Bella. That's why she cheated on him in real life, y'all. Ooh, too soon. Too soon.
I have no idea what's going on there. I don't understand any of those references at all. Yeah, I vaguely remember that movie. But yeah, like I totally would be. I would totally be eternal, right?
You strike me as a blade vampire, like you would want to be walking.
A blade vampire
into techno places. Fighting kung fu.
I like. Okay, so where are the most interesting people? They're not like. They're not usually in easy to find places, right? Characters. I mean, like.
First of all, I've been your wingman in some of those not easy to find places.
Dude,
First of all, I've came out several times needing a bleach bath or a tetanus shot, and was actually looking for vampires while I was unlocking the car for us to leave. Right, so yeah, so I've been to those places with you.
That wasn't all me. That a lot of that was someone else.
It was
both of you. 9 times out of 10, I was the one who was getting us out of the situation, not into this situation.
Possibly.
If I remember correctly. One exception to that rule.
One exception. Anyways.
And you weren't even there for that.
Huh?
And you weren't even there for that.
No, but I've been in enough dumps with you, man. I've been in enough dumps with you.
Those were mostly your fault.
What? The dust ups that happened?
No, not the dust ups, but the places that we ended up were mostly your fault.
I was curious. I want to see what was going on there.
I came along, didn't I?
And I go in there and I see.
I like interesting places. If
I see a nerd acting out in a nightclub, I'm gonna be like, why are you wearing mascara? That's a fair question, y'all. That's a fair question, fam. All right. If you go into a nightclub,
the whole thing started,
and there's a dude in there, paler than Jay's top of his head, wearing mascara. I didn't think I was gonna. It was a thing, right? All right, but evidently, Ugar took it personal.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we hugged it out.
All I remember is
and we hugged it out.
I remember ashtrays flying on my head at one point. That's a very
and that's you know what? Before we get back to Thoth and the Emerald, that's what's wrong with our generations. When I was growing up, you weren't a man unless someone threw an ashtray at you in a bar before. You weren't a man, all right?
At least once.
If you ever had an ashtray thrown at your head in a bar, you weren't considered a man when I was coming. That's a rite of passage, fam. Right? Now everybody just vapes. Anyways. There is an inappropriate joke in there that I will let that go that has to do with Terminators and people that like to vape. Anyway, so here we go. Again, Jay took us off topic with some nonsense. So look, back to the thing.
Uncle JC stories.
Uncle JC stories.
So yeah, I would totally be immortal.
I don't think I'd go for it, man.
Wouldn't you?
I'm not quite sure. No, because I would become too powerful and dominate the planet. If I could say it like you didn't put.
You think so?
Yeah, man. If you didn't put an expiration date on me, so let me tell you this, man. You want to know how I know how God has a sense of humor? You want to know? This is a true story, right? Sure. No disrespect to my Lord. When we are at our most physically primed, I've seen, you wouldn't believe this guy used to be in shape, fam. I've seen this guy running 1.5 miles in like 8 minutes with another cat smoking a Newport. That's a menthol, right? And I was like, these guys don't care, man. And so,
dude, I'm still in shape. It's just a different shape.
but you were like in like drop them in the middle of the jungle type of shape, right back in the day. When we're in that level of shape, we are chemically stupid, man. We are the dumbest. Give me my mind now when I'm 24, and it is over. Yeah, it is over, right? Absolutely. It is over.
See, I think that might be a reality sooner than you think.
So
there's people working on that, dude. Like rewinding the clock actively.
If I was eternal, and my capacity did not diminish to absorb knowledge the way that I absorb it. I don't know if I'd wake up one morning and be like, yeah, you know what? The world would be better if there were no gingers around here. So when I would go, I would. Is
that the conclusion?
That's the conclusion I come up with, man. Like gingers are the problem, man. That's the problem, right?
No, that's totally it. I have a soft spot for gingers, so I would have to be on the other side of that argument for me.
So you want to hear something funny, man? There's the dominant hair color in my family. When I grew up, man, all my girl cousins would beat the crap out of us. They all had red hair, right? My aunts have red hair. My Aunt Glenda has red hair. My mom's a blonde. That's why I don't date blondes. So it's like, that's how it is, man. Back and forth, right?
I forgot about that rule.
Yeah, man. So that's the thing, man. And then, yeah. So that's the thing. I would wake up like 140, and be like, yeah, gingers are the problem. You know what I'm saying? And then I would be like, I would start Dr. Evilin a way to get the gingers out, man. So that's what
All right. Well, see, and here's what's fascinating about that, right? Like, so because I wrote about this, right? I think at some point, honestly, the core of my being is self-determination, right? So you should have your choice, right? If you don't want to live forever and you don't want to take, and I'm telling you, it's coming. It's only, I'm going to say it's a decade away at minimum. I'm going to say. I could be wrong about that too. I'm being conservative just for funsies. A decade away, right? There's a I don't know, pill you can take. People are injecting themselves to get, thinner.
Yeah.
Dude, they're not going to shy away from a pill that's going to make them younger.
Right.
They're not. It's going to sell like hotcakes. Your insurance company will pay for it.
Yeah. You're less hazardous on there. But you know what? I just realized too, gingers aren't the problem, man. It's Jersey.
It's Jersey.
It's New Jersey.
Oh God,
man.
I saw you talking to.
Yeah, so you're talking. I was working out some details with that cat. I actually like that. That's my boy. Though. I love that guy. But Jersey's the problem, man. That's what I would wake up like. You know what? Jersey's the problem, man, because you're like suburbs of New York, man. You're like the people that don't want to live in Queens, but like to go in to visit in Queens and pretend you're from Queens, and then go back to like Jersey. So that's the problem. That's what I would wake up one day and then I'm like, all right, everybody, Jersey's got to go. I'm saying,
why not?
And I'd give it to Canada.
Yeah, totally. Because there's a straight path. Yeah, it makes total sense.
Get it around here. Teach them, and I'm not talking about the cool Canadians. I'll give them to the French speaking ones on the upper
in Ottawa,
the Ottawa ones, right? So I don't know, man. I'd have to put some serious thought in that, man. I don't think that would be my.
I don't know that would work out.
I don't think that would be my go-to right away. That I would be like, okay, hey, look, man, yeah, I'm gonna be like this immortal. But anyway, so digging into that, bro. I know you like this Emerald Tablet story, but I got to be honest when we go into it. I think it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
This one's pretty.
So and it's known for this term. I've heard so many. What would you call a hippie? People that live like hippies now, but they're not like in the 70s. What would you call them?
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like,
you know what a hippie looks? Have you seen the modern day hippies? I know what a
hippie is, man.
Yeah, no, the modern
day hippies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Probably, but I'm like, you and I are not communicating on the same term, right? Modern day hippie meaning living in a van, like the van life people. Okay. Yeah. The van life people.
Van life people. That's
a
very politically correct word, Jay. Van life people.
I don't know what else to.
When we were growing up, Jay, if you lived in a van, that was considered a failure, right? Right.
It was not. It
not
was
something
not
to achieve for.
It was not a goal. No.
Well, their big thing is,
it's attractive. I gotta say, it's attractive to me a little bit.
I would like to build one just for funsies, right? Because I'm
Yeah, no,
some
I
stupid
definitely
like
want
that.
to have a house somewhere, a house somewhere. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
have to have my bubble, but like, um, yeah, no, it's attractive in a certain respect
No, I would like.
because I'm,
I used to watch this show where they could put you can put a shower in there. Like if I could put a shower in like a van,
dude. Look, man, the minute they have a self-driving
yeah,
RV, I'm gonna live in that bad
yeah,
boy.
believe for sure, for sure.
Uh-huh.
But their big thing is they like to say "as above, so below," and I'm just thinking like, what does that even mean, right? I don't even know what that
Turtles
means.
all the way down.
What?
Turtles all the way down is what it means.
I think
As
that's
above,
stupid.
so below.
Supposedly that's on the Emerald Tablets. That's like that's
It's
what does that even mean?
uh
As above, so below. Okay, was that supposed to
okay,
be
let
some
me
kind of
ask.
magic enlightening phrase or whatever? I'm fired up tonight, son. All right, y'all ain't ready for me tonight, all right?
I wish I could type faster.
As let us know in the comments what as above, so
No,
below supposedly means.
well, I can tell you what it means.
What's it mean?
It's the idea is as in heaven, so shall it be on earth, right? Meaning uh the rule of law in heaven is the rule of law on earth,
Well,
right?
now I hate you because that makes
Uh
sense to me now.
oh, I'm sorry. But that's kind of my job is to make you hate me a little bit.
Yeah, you know what?
Um
I wonder if it's like in the Lord's prayer, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Is that what that means? If
it's
that is,
kind of the
then
same thing, yeah.
well,
But there's
now
other
I don't think it's
interpretations
stupid.
too.
I don't think it's stupid then.
There's other interpretations too, right? As above, so below, right? The high idea that I keep talking about, turtles all the way down, right? Um, we talked about it before. If you look at a picture of like when you zoom when they make these computer models, right, from all the data they get from the sky, when they do all these telescopes, and they kind of zoom way out and they do a simulation of what it looks like. It looks like lightning, right?
Mhm.
Lightning frozen, like this, you know. The networks are networks are networks kind of thing, right? The slime mold makes a
Yeah.
branching network and so on and so forth, right? As above, so below. There's physics, right? Physics is the rules. Math is the rules of the universe, right? And the brilliance of Thoth is that he codified that and uh, made it understandable and pulled it from the world of ideas into the
Dumbed it
world of
down.
reality. Well,
Okay.
no, he just did a translation, right? All that writing is a translation of what's in your head out onto paper so that you can share that with another human being permanently,
Right.
not just through voice because your memory is fallible.
Hmm.
The telephone game, right?
Okay.
And so that's why writing was so huge for the development of a species and why it was seen as such a weapon, right?
And that's
By
why they
the
don't want
gods.
you to read, people.
Exactly, because it's taking your brain and consuming ideas, other people's ideas. It's a perspective that's not your own.
I do
And
think.
so if you can step into other perspectives, that's powerful.
Yeah, I do think. I think books are cool that way. Like, if you read one person's book, literally, if he spent 1,000 hours researching it, you just absorbed 1,000 hours of research in like 2 hours or however long it takes you to read that book. So that's pretty cool.
I
Anyway,
mean,
so
any novel is the creation of a world,
yeah,
right? It has rules, and if it's a good novel and a good story, it has rules and it abides by its own rules. And
yep.
there's a thing there, right? There's a logical conclusion of the story. Um,
And so people,
it's
and so moving on, Jay. All right, enough of your fancy
sorry, it does relate.
author book. You would get it, Jay. You write books, okay, Jay? We get it. Everybody, Jay's an author, okay? Jay writes books. Everybody,
No, I wrote a book.
Jay's building a new world, right? Everybody.
Yeah, I'm totally building a new world.
So
It's all in here though, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, I mean, the story. This one, we were talking about as above, so below. So we got off track. My bad. But yeah, this guy just kind of came out of nowhere.
no, he came out of nowhere, right? And it's weird how he
And
came
just
out of nowhere too, right? So what happened, everybody? To tell you what Thoth ruled Egypt for all this time or whatever. A great flood happened, which every culture has at this point we got to stop calling it a myth. Every story tells of a flood.
Yeah, I mean, we did have there's archaeological evidence and all that.
No doubt, man. They found fossilized clams the other day at the top of Mount Everest. They walk up there. I'm saying,
right?
So
yeah.
But anyway, so Thoth showed up after the flood, and his job was supposedly to go out and rebuild these societies. He started, strangely enough, they say, 13,000 years ago, right after the Younger Dryas, which is right when the flood took place. And if people aren't familiar with the Younger Dryas event is there's an asteroid field that we come around every so often, and they postulate that one of those asteroids was slung out of the Younger Dryas, or the Younger Dryas event that came down and caused that flood. And it did cause the flood, but I think there was also they just found 3 times the amount of the Earth's oceans, like 8 miles down.
Water.
Yeah, water. So obviously water came up from everywhere, right? He came out to rebuild society. He started in Central America, South America. So he started over there. Then he went back to, the other places. Thoth is credited in the Emerald Tablets as being the creator of the Great Pyramid, which I've always said is not built by man. People call me a racist. I'm like, okay, why am I a racist? Yeah, they call me a racist, right? Like, why do you say that? You just can't accept that black people made it. I didn't say white people make it either. None of y'all made it. So, yeah, the Anunnaki made it, right? And so he went over there to do that and built that back up. But that's not what this guy gets the most credit for. Jay gets the most credit for because evidently in this tablet, and this is how I think the tablet's fake. I'll tell that at the end of the podcast. Talks about how to transmute iron, other metals to gold, and how to make this stone called the Sorcerer Stone, right? For make you immortal. And before you laugh at that, everybody, on there, I'm going to give you some names of some people that spent multiple years studying this. One of them was Isaac Newton, spent 30 years. He invented calculus. The Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II had people researching it. John Dee, a lot of people don't know who John Dee is, but he was basically they called him a wizard of the court in England. And this dude's claim to fame is that he could actually speak the angelic language. He could speak the angelic language. Well, I actually think this guy could probably speak Anunnaki. Or he probably was speaking, what was that Sumerian tablets written in, Jay? Cuneiform? What were they written in? Sumerian. He could probably speak Sumerian, and they just thought he was speaking the angelic language on there, right? And
he could have been babbling off all kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, who knows, right?
He could have been speaking Russian for all they know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Edward Kelly was another guy that was looking on it. He was another court magician or a court wizard over there. I can't remember the queen he was in. But the most famous name of all is Nicholas Flamel, right? And when you hear that, if you know anything about Harry Potter, you're going to laugh. But actually, the lady who wrote Harry Potter based the Nicholas Flamel character on the actual alchemist named Nicholas Flamel, who was the only one who supposedly actually created the Sorcerer Stone, deciphered the tablets, and walked off, faked his own death with his wife and walked off, right?
The Count of Saint Germain.
Huh? Yeah, exactly.
It's all connected to the legend of the Count of Saint Germain.
Yeah, and it's like Nicholas Flamel is connected to the legend of the Count. We need to do a podcast on that guy, man, to tell you the truth, man. That's a whole story right there, right?
Yeah, it is. And
so they achieved mortality. And so when I hear that story, it gives me, alchemy is a real science, right? It really is. They can't actually take lead and turn it into gold. You have to put it inside this big type of like piece of equipment to do it.
I mean, it's prohibitively expensive to transmute.
It's so expensive to do, right? It's not even worth it, right? But they can do it. They remove I think they remove a molecule or something like that.
There's all kind of jiggery pokery that happens. It's particle physics.
It is, right? Yeah. So it's so expensive to do it, right? But here's where I get caught up in that, right? That's what
particle physics do, Joe. They're alchemists.
No, they're satanic. We've talked about this before. When you're not busy trying to open up.
Alchemists supposed to be?
These guys aren't on. Yeah, they're not off the list. Aleister Crowley studied this too. I left the lead satanic person on the planet off this, right? Aleister Crowley was studying these things as well, right?
Oh, absolutely, he was.
They're all of the devil, man. It's all devil.
Well,
This is
it
devil
was the
music.
Hermetic tradition, right?
Yeah.
It's even named after him. Like,
Yeah.
Thoth was Hermes, and then the
Yeah.
Hermetic tradition was like looking for the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. So it is a legitimate science, man. And Isaac Newton was legitimately I would say, he was a smart guy. He was probably genius level, right?
He was also a little bit of a nut job.
No, but he was. I was trying to be nice, man. But like, he was a little nutty, man.
We talked about this before. When you're on, you got the whole thing, right? When you're way over here or way over here, society's kind of hard to deal with, right?
Yeah, so it's funny, man. I go. The only one I give props to, man, is Nikola Tesla, right? The GOAT.
He was a fruitcake too.
We've all loved the pigeon, Jay. Okay, who are you to judge, man?
I have not quite loved a pigeon quite as much as Nikola Tesla loved pigeons, but
exactly.
The guy was brilliant. Obviously, he was just.
So I try to give him a little bit of respect. I consider myself to have above average intelligence, and never have I once ever thought I'm going to create new math.
But you do have eccentricity.
I'm a little strange, right? So but
we're all a little strange, right?
Exactly.
Like anyone, look, you can't. It's just how it is, right? Like when you're intelligent, super intelligent people are eccentric. They just are.
Right.
It's just how it is. Like when you're that smart, you see the world completely differently than most people, right?
So what's your eccentricity?
I don't think we have time.
All right. Well, I'll just tell you mine.
You've known me a long time. Do we have time for that?
No, you don't. No, you're a weird.
No,
dude.
we don't.
You're far weird.
I'm a weird dude, and I'm 100% embraced it.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. So mine is I'm just incredibly good looking. You know what? I just can't help myself.
Yeah, right. I just got the charisma to go with it. Right?
I can't help myself, man. I can't help myself, man. It's what it is. I embrace it. And it's 2024. Don't you dare judge me. You understand?
Self-love is important, right?
It's my truth. It's my truth. It's my truth.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that too.
Anyways, but yeah, so he's a smart dude, man. These guys were, and these guys were important people throughout history, and so I think there was something to what they were trying to do. Outside of the Nicholas Flamel story and the Count of Saint Germain, which is that's a fascinating story, right? I would just think that if this many smart guys were doing it, it would be a lot easier to have done it, right? And so I'm thinking like, is there any tablet? And of course, if there is a tablet, it's in the Vatican vault, locked away with the time machine and all the other cool stuff that the church won't let us play with, right? So it could be not, right? Or in a basement of the Smithsonian, or controlled by the satanic people who go around snatching up artifacts. But anyways,
yeah.
So that's the thing that drives me on that, man, is it real? Was he real? And there was a time when we started this journey, Jay, where I would be like, yeah, no, he's not real. But then now, knowing what I know, what we've discovered about the Book of Enoch, the Anunnaki, the Watchers, the stuff, this cat probably could be real. This probably could have been a real person in history. I don't follow the bird face, the ibis head. I don't track with that. But okay, sure, right?
I think that obviously there was some symbolism there, right?
Right.
How do you? All right, let's talk about communication for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
How do you communicate the nature of a god to someone who can't read?
Correct. That's good. You got to make him stand out. Got to be different, right?
You give them a familiar face, so to speak. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This god set, right? Supposedly the adversary. He's the serpent.
Right.
Right?
Satan.
Which is
Zeus.
Which is fascinating too.
That's why they do that in Hollywood.
Right? What? What is this?
Zeus. Zeus is Satan. That's why they cover their eyes in Hollywood to give homage to Satan, because Satan lost an eye when he fell from Earth fighting Archangel Michael. Big brains.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. I know you like Zeus. No, not Zeus. I'm sorry, not Zeus. I'm sorry. No. Who's
You're saying Odin is Satan.
Odin is Satan. Odin is Satan.
Odin's not Satan.
Odin's Satan. I'm telling you. We'll have this conversation.
Okay, we'll have this conversation because
Odin is definitely Satan.
Okay, so look, here's the thing: the parallel. If you want to make a parallel in that regard, right? Definitely not. He would be more akin toward Thoth, because he invented writing. He invented, he did the runes, and he was the scribe. But he was also the god of war and poetry and death. So it was very. You have to think about the culture of the people who kind of brought him forth, right? These were people who raided on the regular. They fought. They literally fought for their life. That was what their livelihood was fighting, right? So their god of war and death and poetry is all going to kind of be rolled up into one dude, right? This is the guy who rewarded you when you fell in battle and took you as a warrior to Valhalla, right? Like, this was your reward. So yeah, I'm going to have to argue vehemently against the parallels between Odin and Satan.
We'll get into that. Before we go back to this, though, samurai, Viking, Mongolian raider, who would you rather fight?
Samurai, Viking, Mongolian raider.
You have to fight one.
Do I get a sword?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can use anything but a gun.
Yeah, no, fair's fair. Is the Mongolian on a horse?
No, he gets his horse, he gets his bows, he gets his arrows, he gets everything, man. You got to fight them. They're full kit, Jay. They're full kitted.
As long as I got equivalent, well, no, I'm not doing the Mongolian. No, I can't fight the Mongolian on horseback. There's no, I don't have. That's it. I'm done. I'm done in that one. I do have a chance against. I feel like I would have more of a chance against the samurai than the Viking.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, just by pure math alone and knowing enough about kendo to be able to defend myself.
Yeah, I've seen you swing a stick, so you probably would have a chance with that one, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a little bit of kendo, not enough to be anywhere near a place to be able to claim that I've done kendo. But I do know a little bit about a sword.
All right. Well, there you go.
I mean, that's my best shot. What about you?
I'm smoking all three of those guys, man. They have no chance.
Okay, of course.
No chance on that.
They're done.
At the same time,
stand on the horseback. You're going to be standing on there with the reins and the mane in your hand all at once with the bow.
You see that back there? They don't just give those away. They just don't give those away. All right, you understand?
Yeah, just popping them off on horseback.
I'm smoking.
Yeah, no problem.
Come at me, bro. Kiss me outside. Come at me, bro. Kiss me outside. Taking all three of those guys, man. So, anyways, the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
And the changing the iron into gold.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I think that this is not even a thing, right? And just hear me out on this, man. I don't even think this is not a thing, is because when this was going on, these people weren't even showering once a month, right? When this was going on, right? The height of the hysteria looking for this. Those were the two things that they wanted the most. And so, of course, that would be what would be written on the Emerald Tablets. So they want to tell me that the Emerald Tablets has the secrets of all the universe on it, right? And that's the only two things you can tell me about is how to make iron into gold and how to make a stone or whatever. Like, well, what? Okay. What other secrets are in there?
I would hope that there was more,
Yeah.
right?
I think there's a lot more. I don't think this is in there.
I think that, in all honesty, I don't know, man. I think it's a story that that this dude made up. He collected a lot of legends and a lot of like old mythology
Right.
and kind of rumbled it and rolled it in a rock tumbler and came out with some really really interesting story that caught people and
So I actually
won't look up.
I actually think that Thoth was real.
Well, I'm not saying that Thoth wasn't real. I'm saying that
I think
this guy's story is
I agree.
wibbly wobbly.
I think
but
it's
it's a
leg.
collection of other things that he has connected into one big story.
It's table at
Like
the
kind of like what we do.
Yeah, exactly. It's table at the Waffle House, 2 a.m. in the morning, wobbly. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a bit wobbly. Yeah. But I do believe that there are. So I think that there is something to back up all of these kind of deities and these recurring characters in human folklore.
And I'm going to get into that right now, man. I'm going to back you up on that too. I actually think Thoth is Enoch. I actually do think that.
Yeah, I mean that's where I think that like if I wanted to play out my favorite pet theory, right, of this was all an experiment gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Enoch's the teacher's pet.
He is, man.
He's the one that he understood.
No, you're on it. You're right on it, bro. And again, you know what? That's very specific. The Scribe, like he's called the Scribe, right? And again, the giants in the Book of Giants and the Book of Enoch, they all call him, go see the Scribe, go see the Scribe. And again, it's the only other person I've heard to, out of all the pantheons, be called the Scribe, which was Thoth, right? And so, and he's
always the messenger.
Always the messenger. Right? That's a great point right there.
And
Hermes,
Mercury. He's the messenger. He's the one who communicates. It's communication.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, I do think the Emerald Tablets are real. I don't think the Sorcerer Stone's on there, and I don't think that the how to transmute iron to gold is on there. And here's the reason why. The Anunnaki came to Earth to mine gold. If you believe, Billy Carson believes in the Sumerian tablets wholehearted, right? So that is a first contact.
And I can always put a plausible explanation on pretty much anything.
Yeah. So if they came to mine gold and Thoth had the secret to turning useless iron into gold, they wouldn't need to. They would just do it.
They wouldn't need to mine it. They would just need to mine the iron.
Exactly, and they were just like.
And see, here's the other thing: how many rocks of iron are floating around? In space.
Exactly. You wouldn't have to come here at all.
Don't.
Yeah.
You got to get close enough to an asteroid belt or a solid body. So the way it works the way we think it works in our solar system.
Earth's flat, son. Be careful what you say. Sure. Be careful what you say. Well,
above the coin, above the great coin.
Right.
is big, huge rocks, lots and lots of them, right? Not only is there an asteroid belt right off Mars, right? They probably used to be a planet, so there's enough wealth there to make.
It's called the Kepler belt.
Literally everyone on. Yeah, no, that's farther out, right? The Kuiper belt is way out here, right, in the Oort cloud. Mm-hmm. The Oort cloud is really far out, like. So those probes that we launched 30, 50 years ago, whatever, however long ago, Voyager 1 and 2, they're not quite out to the Oort cloud yet. That's how far away it is.
Yeah, if you believe NASA's real.
If you believe that they launched them. It doesn't matter. It's very, very far away. Anyway, that's mostly ice out there. Big chunks of ice and stuff, from the understanding. So there's rocks everywhere. They're flying around, and dude, we just had one come between us and the moon like not too long ago. They do it on the reg. I watch them because they're dangerous.
So
they're probably more dangerous than most of the shit that's going on the planet.
Yeah,
to be honest.
And so that's one strike. And then so when I made the mistake, man, of digging too deep, and I hate when I get like this, man. I just can't let things go. You know what? Isaac Newton and all these other guys was saying the number one key ingredient is to making the Sorcerer's Stone. Tell our audience, Jay.
Lemonade.
Pee. Is that right?
Yes, urine. Specifically human urine.
So, stop. Just right. Let's just stop right now. Stop right now. You mean to tell me that a 36,000-year-old god wrote on a tablet, if you want to live forever, boil your pee?
Drink your own pee. And who knew that Bear Grylls had it down all along?
Exactly, man. Come on, man. That's the highlight. That's the thing, right? No. Pee. Oh, and then I just thought to myself, like, are you kidding me, right? But no, it wasn't kidding me. So in case anyone is interested in collecting your urine and trying to live forever, there is a book on the internet that you can get for free. It's called the Book of Aquarius, right? Jay, go download this book. And I want to see you.
Good. I already checked it out.
Converting that garage into a laboratory.
Not distilling my own urine. I'm sorry, that's not happening. No.
Bruh.
They were fascinated with bodily fluids back then because they had no idea what they were.
Bruh.
No.
No, bro.
Absolutely not. Look, here's the thing. I'll wait for the nanites. I'll wait for the little nano machines that are living in my bloodstream to fix me. I'm not drinking pee. Sorry. I draw the line.
I'm not boiling it down.
I draw the line.
Well, it turns into a rock.
It's just not my fetish.
It's not my thing, man. And here's another thing that's strike two why I think this is a bunch of. There's a pee joke in my mind, but it's a YouTube, so I'm not gonna say it. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. So is that
that's an expression though. I think that's allowable because that's literally an old expression. It's a colloquialism.
And
that's a hard word.
Another thing too is that I caught when I was very interested in Thoth, right? I was very interested in the character of Thoth, right? I was very interested because there's a lot of thought. He has a backstory.
Oh yeah.
But Thoth has to reincarnate every 100 years, and that stood out to me when I read that. Oh, he has the ability to reincarnate every 100 years, right? So, if he had the Sorcerer's Stone, why would he need to reincarnate? Minus a murder. Again, he's not eternal. He's eternal, not immortal. He never says he can't be killed, right?
Right. So when they say reincarnate, that it's open to interpretation. I think a little bit.
I thought the same thing, but
reincarnate.
They specifically said he came back as this guy named Hermes Trismegistus, right? A man, right? Like he came back.
Hermes Trismegistus.
What's his 3 times?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Hermes. Let's just call him.
I do like that name though. That means 3 times magnificence, right? Like
magnificent, yeah. Magnificent times
Matter of fact,
3.
for the rest of this episode, you will refer to me as Joseph Trismegistus.
I cannot. It will not happen, sir.
You, sir.
I just can't say it.
You, sir, and I will bless you with some pee. You, sir, will refer to me as Joseph Trismegistus. No. Yeah, man. So, yeah, Jay, that's why I'm thinking, like, I believe certain aspects of it, man. But fill me in, man.
Again,
where are you at with this?
Like I said, I always come back to there's these recurring characters in human folklore, and we can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
Folklore, mythology, my belief system. Don't mess with my religion. I don't make distinctions. All I'm doing is
I do. I go hard on Buddhists, right? Man. Buddhists don't make no sense to me.
Look, here's the thing. People are going to believe what they want to believe, and that's fine. And I think that we need to have room for that everywhere.
No.
As long as it doesn't mess with anybody else, right?
Buddhists in New Jersey is a problem, Jay. Jersey is a
Buddhists
problem.
in New Jersey, specifically New Jersey Buddhists.
I'm just joking. You Buddhists, you guys give away all your belongings and do whatever you want to do. You don't bother me.
How do you eat a pacifist? I don't know.
Do something.
Right? Do something.
Do something.
I don't get that. But anyway, yeah, I have completely lost my train of thought now.
I'm not gonna lie, man. You being passive is bothering me.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's bothersome. It's not my path.
It's definitely
But,
not your path, bro.
Not mine. Yeah, no, I'm not drinking my own pee. Even I really want to be immortal, but not quite that bad. Now I will let them inject me with some little tiny machines that'll burrow into my body and keep it alive forever.
Take you over.
That's just fine. I don't know. It depends, right? Like, so I have some serious. I really do like this whole Neuralink thing. I have some serious questions.
That is the Antichrist right there. That is the Antichrist. That's the mark, Jay. That's the mark of the beast. I'm telling you what, man.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I
don't necessarily think
guys like me are going to have to put holes in guys like your heads because you're going to be the chip droids. Well, we've talked about this. Order 66 in Star Wars.
Exactly where my problems are with it, right? Which is why I don't want anybody to put a chip in my head.
Yeah, no.
Somebody's got to write that firmware. Some coder somewhere has got to write that firmware. Nope. No thanks. I don't trust any programmer enough to have them put firmware in my brain. Do you?
Let me ask. Hell no.
Do you know a good enough programmer that you would trust to program code and put it in your body?
None of you nerds are going to put anything in my head. Period. None of it. None of you nerds are putting anything in my head.
Because it's intrinsically hackable.
Would you let somebody? Would you let somebody hypnotize you? You would. You are a dirty boy. I knew you would let the fact that you're thinking
about it.
Nothing good is coming from that.
That would mean that I have to believe in hypnosis, and I'm not 100% sure I believe in it. I'm not sure I believe in it.
Well, I'm not going anywhere near it, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there are some people who just can't be hypnotized, but I don't know. I've never encountered it that much, so I have no idea.
So, do you know the science behind it's actually pretty valid? Do you know what the science behind it is?
I've looked into it a little bit, and I know that there is some science behind it.
Yeah, so I can I can break it down for you real quick. You ever seen the movie Inception? So basically, what the hypnosis is kind of similar to that. They're not when they want to put you in a relaxed state. So the commands they give you is programmed into your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind, right? So that way, when you hear like a trigger word like cantaloupe, Jay, you go and rob like 6 banks or something like that, right? And so, and if you know anything about the subconscious mind, is 10 times more powerful than the conscious mind, and literally you can.
I'm aware.
And so like that's why the term like attracts like is if you think you're going to get hit by a bolt of lightning, your subconscious mind will work to get you struck by a bolt of lightning, right? So that's why you should never
something like that.
You should never put negative thoughts in your mind out of your mouth, right? Because your subconscious doesn't have a sarcasm meter on it, right? Where it can say like, oh, so and so, right? Same way a hypochondriac can talk himself into getting leukemia. The same thing can happen with your subconscious mind. So that's hypnosis, man. They want to relax you to a point where they get past your prefrontal cortex there, your decision-making part of your brain, and they lay a thought into your subconscious mind, right? And like, you don't want to smoke cigarettes. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. I don't want to smoke cigarettes, right? And that's what it comes into it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, some people can't because they're too strong-willed, and they just can't. They dominate their mind, right? And you can't hypnotize them. But I would not. I don't know if I could be hypnotized or not. But I'm just, again, it's like a Ouija board. I'm not messing with that, man. I'm not.
Yeah, like a Ouija board.
I'm not getting involved in that, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably let somebody I trust do it, but there are not many people that I.
Let me hypnotize you.
No.
Let me hypnotize you, bro. Let somebody hypnotize you. Let me give you the commands when you're under.
Well, now wait a minute. You can. I would trust you to be there. I don't know that I don't know that
Get him
I
relaxed.
trust you to hypnotize me. I would definitely, if you were there watching my back, I would definitely let somebody hypnotize
Code
me.
word: pineapple and
But
coconuts.
you wouldn't
When
be
you
there
hit,
but you wouldn't be there to watch my back. You'd be there to videotape me doing crazy shit
yeah,
if it
exactly,
actually
man.
worked.
Code word: pineapple and
So,
coconuts. When you hear those combined,
yeah, right, exactly. I'd be in some kind of hula skirt or some shit doing the truffle shuffle or
that would
something.
be
I don't
funny.
know.
That would be funny. That would make me
Yeah.
laugh. That would make me laugh for sure.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm not doing it. Anyway,
Yeah, me neither. I don't really have an interest to try to go in and do that stuff. I know some people believe
it's
it,
the
man.
same thing, right? Like putting a chip in your head and putting a hypnotic suggestion in your head. There's an element of trust there that I don't intrinsically have for other people. I just don't.
Let me ask
Because
you
of
this, man. Before
good reasons.
yeah, let me ask you this. Since we've talked about Thoth and this or and achieving eternal life, what do
Hmm.
you think that chip's going to do for you, bro? Like, what is it? What is it you could possibly?
Oh, Lord. See, and that's what's tempting about it for me, right? Um, and yeah, okay. There's lots. I would do lots and lots with it.
Really?
That's the thing. Oh, dude. I mean, it depends. It very much depends on how it works, right? Um, can I control a drone with that chip? Can I see the camera in my head? Like, there's there's a lot there to unpack, right? It depends on the capabilities of the technology. It's how good is it? How good of a tool is it? If it's just to play Pong with, then no, thank you.
Bro,
However, there are people who need it, right?
no, I get no
What if
like
they can control arms and legs with it and stuff like that? Now
no,
that's a
that's
true
yeah, for
application.
sure,
That's what it
absolutely
should be used for, right?
right, but it won't.
Those
Somebody,
are people who need it.
you guys will be you'll be downloading every
I won't
episode of
be.
Naruto or something like that in your head, man. Like, see this thing right
Not
here?
this kid.
I hate this thing. Right? I cannot like this. This is the chain around my neck, man. I want to
Then
unplug more.
just cut it.
I
Then just
do.
cut it.
I do.
Go get yourself a flip phone.
No, come on, man. I'm too cool for it. I'm too cool for it. I'm not gonna do that. Calm down, Jay. All right, calm down, man.
Yeah,
I'm
not
not
going
gonna
back
go.
to not going back to the razor, huh?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna go back and start. I'm not gonna start
I've
a
thought about it.
10-acre homestead. All right, like.
No. I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about.
But yeah,
But for real, believe it or not, I have this phone, right?
nerd. You're such a nerd.
Well, it was free, so there's that. But like, I like it because it folds, and I can shut it, and that's it. And it's kind of the same thing to a certain degree because you can turn off the outside screen, right? The little lock screen. You just turn it off. You just tell it, don't give me any notifications on that. I don't want to see them, right? And so it's closed. It's a weird thing, dude. It's like that psychological little trick, right? When I close the phone, it's kind of out of my mind.
Hey, whatever works, nerd. That's you.
Yeah, whatever works.
Whatever works, nerd. Well, all right. So, Jay, before we wrap this up, give me your thoughts on these questions. Thoth, real or not real?
I think that he's based in truth somewhere.
I do too. Think he's off Enoch? Very Enoch sounding. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. I think that story was. I think that there's a root there.
Yeah.
To that whole story, right?
Yeah,
that
for
goes
sure.
back way farther than anyone has found.
Yep. Enoch. Emerald Tablet, Jay, real or not real?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
It's
I'm
so
not buying
specific, right? Like it's this big 4 foot tall, 3 foot wide emerald slab,
Yeah.
right? With all this, everything's always got hidden knowledge on it, right? Like, okay,
Yep.
well, you put all
Well,
that.
I mean, that's the thing. The artifacts of the gods, right?
Yeah.
Something to chase.
Yeah. What if, you know what? What if
It's
it's one
treasure.
big giant LED screen?
Ooh, that would big. It's a big giant crystal.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one big giant LED screen, right?
It's a big
So anyway.
giant crystal with some kind of laser projector inside. There you go.
I'm going to say that it's real only because I know the satanic forces that control our government probably have it locked up somewhere where we can never see it. So,
It's
so
in
I'm
the
going to say
same
it's
crate
real.
with the Ark of the Covenant.
Believe. In the
It
same
is right next.
area,
In the
guaranteed.
same crate. Same crate.
My daddy
Same
told me.
shelf,
My
probably.
daddy told me so. So, anyways, all right. Sorcerer's Stone, real or not real?
I think that the idea behind it is possible.
No.
I do not think that distilled urine will make you immortal.
No. As a matter of fact, it's so
Or
unreal.
eternal.
All it is somebody being a troll. That was the first ever urinal cake. That's all it was, man. Pee on
The
this.
first ever urinal
That's it,
cake.
man. It's 100%. The Sorcerer's Stone is not even close to being real.
Oh man.
Not even close.
Yeah, no. I think that there is. I think that the lesson there, right? I think that there is a. I think there's a story there. I think that
somehow
that story definitely got.
It got legs, and it just
but I think it got telephone gamed to death. Right.
Transmuting.
I don't think the
Transmuting iron to
formula
gold,
should-
Jay. We know that it can be done, but could it be done magically?
not alchemically. No.
I don't think
I mean,
so.
yes, but no, not by those guys.
No,
Like,
not-
they didn't
not back then,
get it, and it's really hard anyway, even for
it
modern.
is.
So
I think that this story is the proverbial carrot and the stick. Give the peasants what they need, what they think that they could track down. Unlimited wealth, unlimited life. Get back in the mud and grow
Right.
my cabbage. That's what I think. That's where it is the vibe I get from this. Right?
yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that because that's a lot of where those stories originated, right? Religion was used to control people.
Yeah. And even to this day, everybody knows I'm so hard down with Jesus. Not only I don't hide my faith, I pray. I'm a Christian. But when I look back even today, people are so desperate for that hey, they want to believe like, yeah, there's something out there that's so mysterious, that's so, hey, this tablet will make me rich and I'll like live forever and all this other stuff, right? That's how desperate they are. That's because that's just how miserable our current society has made people in general is what I feel, right? I saw some staggering statistics that I'm not going to add on to this about how people happiness, right, is a thing, right? It's like even written into, I want to say it's written into our Constitution. The pursuit of happiness is in there, is written in like our founding fathers, right? To pursue, to be happy, right? Mm-hmm. Joy, right? People don't have that, man. People are not having that. The world has become so.
People have lost their joy.
They've lost their joy, man, and
yeah.
And again, it's done by a small group, and I'm beating this to the day. It's done by a small group of satanic haters, bunker builders. Please let me find you building a bunker and let that asteroid miss. Go into that bunker, right? Lock that door to keep me out and let that asteroid miss. Me, this guy, and about 4 of my friends are going to take a cement truck, and you ain't never coming out of that bunker. You understand? I'm going to turn it into the world's biggest skating park, right? That's the thing. And that's the thing right now, man. And I actually think that the joy and the happiness is on the verge to come like a dam breaking, to come rushing back into the earth in general. Not because it's not just Americans. Look, I'm going to El Salvador.
Oh yeah, look.
Right?
Adolescence is hard, right?
Right.
Think about kids who are like, I don't know, in the 11 to 13, 14 range, right? They're coming to the realization that the world isn't quite as nice and comfy and cozy and fun as it was, when
life is
7.
a contact sport, Enigmites. You're going to take some hits.
And so here's the thing. And I'm gonna step onto the tiny little soapbox for just a tiny minute. Here's the deal. Everybody's gotten too comfortable.
Oh, you want to make it harder?
Too used. No. Just listen.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
everybody's gotten too comfortable. There's not anyone who deserves a damn thing.
Ooh, no more participation trophies from Jay's house. Let's see, huh? Halloween's hard around you, huh?
You can either live in the world and accept it for what it is, or the world will beat you down. And that's just the long and short of it, right? We're headed for hard times. You think it's rough now, it's gonna get rougher.
Jay, you're scaring the kids, Jay.
They should be. They should be scared. Because, see, here's the thing. The world is going to change very drastically in the next decade. Very drastically. And the things that you thought that you would be able to do in 5 years from now, they may not exist. Find a way, right? Find a way to make what you want to do work. Because finding work is tough right now, and it's not going to get any easier, right? Greed has taken over, and until people realize who the real enemy is and what they're being manipulated into, it's going to continue down the road it's on.
Your real enemy is the satanic government that's trying to take your money away.
Yeah, no. Look, here's the thing. The balance of power has shifted far too much, right? You've got people who are far too wealthy and who aren't taking into consideration what the impact of their actions are. They don't give a shit. They are after the money, and everything else is a side concern. And what that's doing is it's causing this huge rift between them and people who don't live on that tier of existence, right? They think they can do whatever they want because they have the money that tells them that they can.
Oh, no, there's some truth to that right there. There's definitely some truth on that, man.
And so then you have everybody else who's kind of just struggling, right?
So check this out.
However they're going to get by.
So, yeah, like I read a book one time, man, that was really good. Talked about how oblivious the French were right up to the point where they started getting their heads chopped off, right? And the book was absolutely fascinating, right? How the world around the people living in these castles was falling apart, and one day they woke up and the peasants were in the castle and they could not figure out why they were in the castle, right? And I thought to myself, like, wow, that is like a really book. Again, that's where the guillotine was invented. But anyway, so enough of that, Jay.
It's the cloud of unreality.
You're scaring everybody,
right?
And it's on a positive note.
Guys, sometimes
everything's going to be fine.
On a positive note. Well, see, here's the thing, and I truly do believe that it will. Yeah. I think the world will be a better place once we're through the hard times. But Absolutely. You got to get through the hard times first. Right. And the hard times are not going to be easy.
Hence the name Hard Times.
That's
why you tune in. Anyways, if you stuck around this long, nerds, you are our type of losers. So do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. My channel helpers say I should be asking for more people to subscribe, but I'm like, whatever, nerds. I do what I want. So I don't care what you do with that bell.
Hey, if you find it entertaining, hit the button and we'll pop up every week.
I did my thing here. Hold on.
Do your thing.
Do my thing. Stop.
Got to get in the right frame of mind, right?
Thank you for turning into this episode of EnigmaCast. If you found this, I can't even do it with a straight face. If you found this episode to be entertaining whatsoever, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and share it.
Yeah.
Hit the link in our link tree. Hit my link hit our link in the front of the page, and find us on all of our social media outlets. You know what? I'm gonna get like Chat GPT to write me a script, and I'm gonna practice that.
Dude, script. You don't even need to practice it. Give me 5 minutes and I'll do it.
That's it, man. Jay, you know what? I'm always doing it. You do it.
Yeah. Tell me. Look.
Go.
I'll do it next episode.
I see.
Trailer.
All right.
No, I need a sample of your voice and a script, which I already have the script. I can write the script in 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
And I have enough of your voice off the podcast that it's just going to take me a little bit to render.
All right. I get it. Well, anyways, you got anything else, Jay?
I don't.
All right. We out.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.